Hello. I think it's been a while since the last commentated video I uploaded. I did try out Star of Providence minimalistically, as I said in the Intrusion 2 playthrough, but I kind of got burnt out pretty quickly attempting it, and I also realized I was rather rusty, and I got distracted. One thing led to another. But currently, I've really had this game on my mind, and a broad topic that I'll get around to during gameplay. Before I even get started, I just want to say this is a free... I don't know what to call it exactly. I think it's a demo, but it kind of feels like its own little standalone game. So if you just look this up on Steam, you can play it right now without paying a dime. I would highly recommend that. I think I'll just start right away. Ignore the 2 new game buttons. You shouldn't know about that yet. I've decided to use retro visuals from the settings. Both because I grew up with PlayStation 1 and because I think this aesthetic is genuinely very compelling when it's done well, when it has good art direction. And this game definitely has that. I also chose the 4:3 aspect ratio for the same reason. I was specifically playing PS1 games on a CRT. And this game is a 3D platformer. Rather than making any specific comparisons, I would say the game is sort of a... It has a lot of inspirations, and I'll try to point them out as I go, and see how many of them I have right and how much is me stretching things. First of all, you can go very far down this path and even catch glimpses of stuff, but eventually you will take damage and get warped back, so I'm not gonna... I think I must have been walking for like 30 minutes out of sheer curiosity. Alright, that's how you slide around. It's been a while since I've played this. When I first played it, I couldn't put it down until I got its achievement. This game has only one achievement on Steam, which is a favorite trope of mine. Fiscari Training Grounds. Maybe I'll make a point to actually read everything here. I don't know. I've said I'll do that in videos that are currently unlisted, actually, and I couldn't do it. Never mind that. It was very much the tutorial area. And this is the main collectible of the game, these coins. I don't think climbing on poles and jumping on ropes reminds me of anything in particular. Maybe Sly Cooper, actually. Yeah. In fact, the way you cling to these things and stand on the tips is very Sly Cooper. It's a bit more automated, which maybe sometimes the player character won't do what you want him to. Keep your head up. Hanging from fly rings offers a path forward in precarious places. Signed Bale. You very much just automatically snap onto these things, whereas I've always liked in Sly Cooper that you have a button to manually trigger the automatic snapping onto things, and I do think that's a little bit better than this, where you're kind of at the mercy of that snapping. So one thing, immediately when I jumped onto these, after reading this sign, just hop up to climb vines. Once mastered, you'll find climbing as swift as running, even hanging from ceilings. When climbing, you can leap large gaps along the surface. To leap away, hunker down, and aim your jump. What that last part is about is if you press the crouch button. Right now I'm moving the left analog stick, right? While holding the crouch button, and I'm not actually moving, I'm just aiming what direction to jump in. Including away from the wall. Kinda neat. But yeah, when I started climbing on these vines, immediately I thought of Rayman 2. And if you know Rayman 2, you can see the resemblance. Difference here is that the actual climbable area is very well defined by the different color of the wall. You can see like the square right here. I do think that's very well done. I want to make it clear that when I'm making these comparisons, it's not really... Like, I'm not really saying much when I'm doing that, am I? It's just to sort of allude to my own history with old school platformers. PS1 era type stuff. Another funny thing is you can shimmy on this. Yeah. You're probably not supposed to do that, but it's very funny. Sure up your acrobatics on poles like this. Swing up to speed and leap. Sidle along or turn around to line things up against signed Bale. Oh, I never noticed the sound nor the bubble. I just immediately talked. Now for some reason with the speaking sound for Bale, I don't actually want to read this myself. But about that speaking sound, it seemed eerily familiar. Like I've heard that same... I know it's a common trope, but very specifically the way it sounds reminded me of something. And let me just finish this dialogue and I'll get to the point. I'm still wondering what happened last week. It's one of those things that never gets referred to again. This is where I'm not sure if 4x3 is the intended resolution of the game, but this is not common and it still works fine. Ready to proceed. I actually don't remember what that means. I think I'll just mess around down here, and before heading up this slope, I'll say that I'm ready. You can break these pots, but as far as I can tell, they don't have anything in them. They're just there. So I heard that speech sound, and I was thinking, why does latching onto stuff feel so familiar? And then eventually you get taught about running and jumping off of walls, and I'm like, that also feels like I have played this exact game before, but not in a derogatory way. It's like I'm feeling the game equivalent of similar brush strokes, or I'm like, have I seen this artist's work before, so to speak? And I haven't looked into it fully, but I've heard that at least some of the people who worked on this made the game Yonoid 2 Enter the Void, which I absolutely loved, and that's another free thing you can play. Maybe you can find the connection in the developers where I haven't. Like, I think there's a connection, but I haven't actually read the names in common. But that game was, I think, a Game Jam game that they cleaned up a little bit and then put on Was it on Steam or did I download it separately? I don't remember. I think I did download it from some website. Yeah, one of the main things I was thinking when I played Yonoid 2 was, as silly as this is, I want a full game of this because it's actually great gameplay-wise. Coins aren't merely beautiful relics, they sustain the tribe. Ultimately, what else is this all for? Pick them up. Bail. I do like the bails here to give you some amount of context for what you're doing here and why. Scarcity of water and the wastes is no excuse. Fiskari are nimble swimmers. In fact, they should know how to skillfully breach the surface with speed and even reach new heights. Bail. And yeah, there's the controls. I'm using a PlayStation controller. That's what I'm used to. And it kind of fits with what I said about, for this particular game. With my childhood playing PS1 stuff. Yeah, this is the boost. I think holding it just makes your general swimming speed faster. Yeah. And with how swift the swimming is, I did immediately think of Spyro the Dragon, combined with jumping out of the surface. So that's another obvious comparison. In fact, I think this game is closest to Spyro the Dragon, because collecting those coins is basically your sole motivation throughout this entire thing. Oh, and look, there's a day-night cycle. I think that's a sign that I'm maybe being a bit too slow here. Another 3D platformer that immediately popped into my mind is Rayman 3. Why? Because of these balloons. Out of the fishing rod you can grab these and then aim and shoot. You can also lock on. I think the controls are kind of self-explanatory. I'll try to talk about the specific things you can do. But for the most part, I'm not going to go into great detail about what buttons I'm pressing and what I'm doing. And Rayman 3, I swear there were balloons that looked exactly like this, and I can't help but wonder if that's specifically why these balloons look like this. But it's easy to draw lines like that. The first thing that pops into your mind. Okay, I'm trying to be thorough, but I already lost track of which of these balloons I've hit. Okay. There are ways to tell if you're missing any collectibles that are nearby, but for the time being, it's not really gonna work. Yeah, that should be good enough. So about what that sign said about breaching the surface is boosting while moving straight up in water can launch you way further. Drop shadows are always very nice in 3D platformers. I'm lining myself up with the shadow down there. Did that say anything about these? I guess not. This is just healing. Actually, can this hurt me? Yeah, there we go. I really love the UI of this game. It's all 3D models. It's a bit too high detail to where with the retro visuals I've chosen, maybe it doesn't do this UI justice, but you can see for yourself what it looks like in different graphical settings. So yeah, the fish is my life. To the right of that, where it says 0, that's the one other collectible in this game, and finally the coins. I think that's all there was there. Hope my kleptomaniac tendencies don't block down this video too much. Okay, Bale. Yeah, because I remember that she comes up here when you say that you're ready. I'm getting ahead of myself because I already know what to do. The wastes will rarely provide, but the tools to survive do sometimes grow on trees, even if they smell awful. So this game's theme kind of is fishing. I mean, just look at its name. Its title screen had a bobber on it, right? Actually, wait, doesn't this sign explain what I'm about to do? Fish, the clan's lifeblood. Clans pay top dollar for such a rare commodity. Study their behavior and bring in the catch. Ironically, fish can't be hooked while comfortably veiled underwater. They must first be seduced to shore. That's exactly what I was doing. That's how you get the fish there. I was like, okay, fishing. And then the moment this happened, I immediately thought of Ape Escape. And that's exactly what this is like. And that's what that part of the UI is for. So yeah, we don't have power stars, we have apes. I love Ape Escape, by the way. It's absolutely amazing. And yes, I did play it as a kid. Its control scheme is amazing. It's still... Oh, right. You can do, what was it called? I forgot the name of the technique. Where you turn and then jump right after turning. It was a thing in Mario 64, right? I have less experience with Nintendo games. Only had a Wii and haven't kept up ever since. Now people are talking about the Switch too, and I'm like, I never owned a Switch to begin with, I don't know. I guess that's a whole other topic. These are save points. I wonder if the question mark here and the appearance of this thing is trying to imply some lore thing in the full game. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. To crouch, hold R2 while crouching. Burst into a slide by pressing square. That's this. Sort of like... I'm just gonna be dropping all of the names here, but the slide very much reminds me of Crash. I forget if it can break things or not. Yep. That's what I would expect. Jumping with X just after performing a crouch slide results in a far-reaching kick jump. Sort of feels like a long jump from Mario, I think. Spin the left stick to spin in place, hold R2 to stay locked into the spin without continuing to spin the stick. Oh yeah, that is the difference. I'm kind of reading these signs as if I'm playing this for the first time. I have fully completed this game. You may have seen the completed save file earlier. Jump Jumping after spinning. The left stick results in a spin jump. This action can be buffered before you even touch the ground. Oh, I never really tried that. Huh. Yeah, I just did it. Cool. For all the speedrunners, I guess. Press R2 in the air to ground pound. Jump right upon impact for extra height, or when hitting an angled slope for speed. That's one thing I really like. And I actually think the low poly style of this game is really nice because it makes it easier to tell how that will work. It's a genuine mechanical benefit that everything is low poly. So I could look at the ground I'm walking on and easily tell, oh, I see the angle of that. And that's exactly what the hitbox is going to be. Oh, I've never done that before. Neat. Spinning sort of gives you more air control and lets you fall ever so slightly slower. It doesn't come up much, but it is a thing. Wait, did Bale have something to say and I just ignored her? Yeah, I think she probably would have said something about the fish. I guess I still haven't seen every little detail in this game. Why am I not reading this one? At least be consistent, man. Navigating must become second nature. Riding walls and sliding ledges as effortlessly as one breathes. For success, leap with speed up to and along the wall, not towards it. Then ride as long as you can. Practice makes perfect. Bale. The text is kind of spilling out. Does that happen on wider resolution? I don't remember. Yeah, the way you run along walls and jump off of them is pretty much exactly like in Yonoid 2, and that is a compliment, because that's why I wanted a full game of that. I'm actually gonna get it when the full version of this is out. Now, because of how I said this is like its own standalone little game, right? It doesn't really feel like a demo to me, because I was thoroughly satisfied by the time I beat this. I wonder if the full game is going to include everything in Tacklebox or not. Time will tell, but right now I would believe it if it didn't. And this was just like a prequel and demo, which I've never experienced such a thing before, but... The swing, the final test of any Fisker's rod discipline, takes trusting your skills with every fiber of your being. That is, first of all, I love the indicator that tells you if you're close enough. You see the arrow moving. When it fully disappears in the bigger arrow, changes color, and you know you can hook on it. That's a nice touch. Mastering the physics when swinging is extremely important for a certain thing I may or may not do later. That's a shortcut. And Bale just jumped all the way up there. I kind of missed that. I kind of wanted to talk about a very broad topic during this, which is, I guess I'll say it in a second when it becomes apparent what this game is like, really. Envisioning terrain as a tool to ascend is what separates a Fisker from future Fiskari. Got wall? Why stall? So that felt like a nice little self-contained tutorial level, right? Teaching you all the basics. Received a whistle. Use it with triangles. Summon sand shredders in the desert.
Palcos pares. Rededor y alrededor. Parece que los alrededor que sim. Creo de que alrededor huecos vedor. Y no las de que alrededor. Muestro pal. Simcos de mis pal. Ve parecedor. Tron. Y no las.
So yeah, that's what fish are for. They're basically just bundles of coins. You have to turn them in here. So this might seem like you're... I mentioned Spyro the Dragon earlier, and you might think, oh, this is the first level, then you're going to load into the next level. That is the crucial difference between this and Spyro. On the horizon is the entire game. I think I'm going to stop it here for now, but in the next video, I'm going to wander around, mostly let the gameplay speak for itself, and just blather about open world game design, because I think this game is an amazing example of it. And I generally dislike open world game design, which is why I'm so impressed. But yeah. I think I'm going to keep these videos short, because I did get a little bit of feedback from someone I know in real life that, what the heck, why are 2 of your videos over an hour long? I'm like, well, it's, you know, there's no reason to do that, I don't think. But we'll see. Maybe I'll do more long-form stuff. And as always, I hope this is interesting. I'm gonna stick to this stream of consciousness style for the time being. Thanks for watching.